What's going on YouTube? My name is Sweat. Welcome back to another Apex Legends video. Now you all clicked on the video because you knew it was my birthday today, right? Right? No, I'm just kidding. You guys clicked on the video for every character in Apex Legends ranked from worst to best. Now before I start hurting feelings, I just want to say that every character in this game is balanced enough to use in their own ways, but some just happen to be a little better than others. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. Coming in at number 10 is going to be CAUSTIC. I had to put CAUSTIC in the last position because I believe he brings the least to the table overall out of all the legends in Apex. The best way to use CAUSTIC is to hunker down into a building or into bunker, as there are only a limited amount of entrances in those locations. In all honesty, his gas traps are not going to cause too much damage to enemies unless you can trap them, which doesn't happen very often. And if we move out into the open, CAUSTIC becomes practically useless, as his big body leads to more enemy bullets connecting with him compared to most characters in the game. There is also not much that impresses me about his ultimate ability, as it serves a very similar purpose to his gas traps. The gas clouds won't do very much damage upon impact, and decently skilled players should be able to escape very shortly, as the radius for the ultimate is not very far. All this being said, this is why CAUSTIC comes in at number 10 for me. Coming in at number 9 is going to be WATTSON. Now there was a lot of hype for WATTSON when she dropped, as it was the beginning of Season 2 and everybody wanted to see what she could do in comparison to the other characters. It is an understatement to say that the hype has died down a bit since then. I bet you I could hop into 10 games and maybe see 2 to 3 WATTSONs at most. The best way to use WATTSON is to be camped into a building, very similarly to CAUSTIC in that she relies on defending areas rather than attacking them. Her Q is overall underwhelming, as the fences keep enemies out for about 4 to 5 seconds at most, as you can easily shoot out the bottoms of them. The only good part about WATTSON, in my opinion, is her ultimate ability. When throwing down her trophy system, you get a device that will deflect enemy projectiles such as arc stars, frag grenades, and thermites. This can also destroy Bangalore's and Gibraltar's ultimates that you may encounter, which should be useful in some scenarios. While this device is down, if you stand close enough to it, it can charge your shield at a very slow rate. Another thing to note is that if you use one ultimate accelerant, she receives her trophy system and her ultimate, so keep a few of them handy when playing this character. Overall, the ultimate just doesn't outweigh the fact that you can be shot out in the open with no escape route, and that her Q is a little bit weak. That is why WATTSON comes in at number 9 for me. Coming in at number 8 is going to be OCTANE. When OCTANE was released, there was also a lot of hype around this character, as he is known for his insane speed and having his stim recharge almost instantly. This lasted a while until everybody realized there were better options in the game. I'd say the best use of OCTANE is running from the storm, because other than that, his abilities are just kind of blah to me. They're just not really that useful. The stim boost lasts for about 10 seconds and you can get pretty far in that amount of time, but it isn't going to get you out of tough situations where you are being pinched or anything in that degree. And when I move on to his ultimate, his jump pad is used mainly to get on top of buildings, but other than that, there isn't much to it unless you're trying to do some 360 Kraber shots with it. You can use Pathfinder to get on top of buildings way easier and don't need his ultimate to do so. All this being said, this is why OCTANE comes in at a mere number 8 for me. Coming in at number 7 is going to be Bloodhound. Now I really like Bloodhound, and I think he could be a very good character when used situationally. Although you may think Bloodhound is a defensive character, quite the opposite is actually true. The best way to use him is to get up close to enemies, but don't push too far without your ultimate engaged, as it will lead to tough escape for yourself. His Q scans enemies and gives you about a 5-second moving shot of where they may be running to. You can use this through walls and objects, but the downside is that you practically have to be aiming right at the enemies for it to work effectively. His ultimate is where Bloodhound shines the most, as it makes enemies glow red along with their footsteps, paired with the 25% movement boost you can receive for 30 seconds, as it can get you halfway across the map while seeing enemies from very far away. If you have a Bangalore on your team, make sure to have them shoot smoke grenades nearby, as this can serve as good cover for Bloodhound while his ultimate is activated. Overall, Bloodhound comes in at number 7 because he is a middle of the road character, and there are quite a few better characters to choose from in Apex Legends. Coming in at number 6 is going to be Bangalore. First off, Bangalore's passive ability allows her to run 25% faster, only when getting shot at though, for a few seconds. Unlike Bloodhound, where he gets 30 seconds of increased movement speed if you use his ultimate. Secondly, where Bangalore shines is with her smoke grenades. You can use her smoke grenades for a million different things, such as smoking out enemy loot boxes, crossing open areas, escaping gunfights, etc. I could go on all night about what you can do with their smokes. You name it, you can probably do it. But the thing that really kills this character for me and puts her down in the number 6 spot is her lackluster ultimate ability. Her barrage takes about 20 seconds to drop and does a very, very small amount of damage to enemies if they actually get hit by it. This leaves the enemies 20 whole seconds to push you, and you could be dead by the time that the ultimate even goes off. Respawn should definitely look into buffing her ultimate, or you won't see me playing this character anytime soon, because she just doesn't offer enough for me. That is why I have her at the number 6 spot. Coming in at the number 5 spot is Mirage. Now, I debated switching Mirage and Bangalore for about 15 minutes before I made this video, but I decided to stick with Mirage here because his recent ultimate buff. When using the ultimate, you become completely invisible for about 10 seconds. This gives you time to flank enemies, appear out of nowhere, or escape from enemies in the blink of an eye without them knowing where you went at all. You can also end the ultimate at any time before the 10 seconds is up in case you are in a good spot before that time has ran up and you want to shoot at some enemies. His Q releases decoys which can fool about 10% of players, but unless you use them perfectly or playing very inexperienced players, they won't work very often at the current state of the game that we are in. Mirage offers enough ability for me to play him and enjoy myself while catching enemies off guard, and this is why I have him ranked at the number 5 position. Coming in at number 4 is Gibraltar. Now, before everyone roasts me and tells me he's garbage in the comment section, just hear me out for a second. At the beginning of Apex, if you told me I'd have him up this high on my list, I'd tell you that you're on some hard drugs or something. But with the recent buff to his arm shield and the fact that he takes less damage than any other player except Caustic, it's like giving this guy 300 health with a purple or gold shield. I personally hate facing Gibraltars for this reason alone. Rarely will you ever kill them in a single clip, let alone with them above a purple shield. Just forget about it, it's not going to happen. If you decide to play this character though, use his bubble wisely when getting pushed by enemies, and always keep a shotgun close by, as it will be the gun that is most effective when bobbing and weaving in and out of the bubble. His ultimate is very useful as it can get enemies off you, and unlike Bangalore's barrage, it drops instantly and does a great deal of damage to opponents. All this considered, he is a viable option to play at the end of Season 2 in the game's current state, so that is why he is ranked at the number 4 position. Coming in at number 3 is going to be Lifeline. Lifeline is the first character for me to cross the mediocre line and jump into the really good characters of Apex Legends. Her Q is very good, and it is a health drone that can be deployed when in tough situations to get you and your teammates back to full health. This is really effective, especially because you don't have to use meds and it recharges rather quickly in about 30 seconds. When reviving teammates with this character, a bulletproof shield appears, which can lead to some revives in situations that normally wouldn't be possible with other characters. Her ultimate ability drops a care package which will most likely contain some high tier loot, but beware as this drop is very loud and will cause a lot of attention to nearby enemies. The healing and revives are where Lifeline really shines for me, and that is why I have her placed in the top 3. Now we arrive at the top 2, and coming in at the number 2 spot is going to be Wraith. I myself main Wraith for the majority of this game's existence and have acquired over 10,000 kills with this character, so I can confidently say that she is a very viable character to use to escape tough situations with. Combine her small hitbox and her insanely good Q and her ultimate ability, this creates a nightmare for enemy players. So if we start off with her passive ability, she lets you know if someone is targeting or aiming at you. This can be clutch because it gets you prepared to fight if you hear her warn you. Her Q allows you to go invisible for about 5 seconds while leaving a slight trail behind you. During that 5-second period, you can't be shot at all. This can get you out of tough situations and back to cover to heal up if need be, or back up to your teammates for extra support. Her ultimate ability sets a portal to allow easier travel across the map or to high locations. All this taken into account, this is why she ranks at the number 2 spot for me. Topping it all off at the number 1 spot is Pathfinder. This is by far the best Apex legend in the game currently for a number of reasons. First of all, his grapple alone could put him at the number 1 spot. You can do so many things with this character, including jump grapples, swinging grapples, ground grapples, roof grapples, you name it, and Pathfinder could get it done as well as any other legend in the game. The real key to playing Pathfinder is getting high ground on enemies, and with his grapple, this can be done in a matter of seconds. This is huge because it gives you a large advantage when looking down at enemies, as their hitbox will be about 5 times bigger than yours if you are up higher than them. You always want to be shooting down at enemies, not up, just remember that. His ultimate ability releases a zip line which can get you to high ground as well, or just allow you to travel across the map a little bit faster with your teammates. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. We are almost at 500 subscribers. Thank you to each and every one of you guys. And if you didn't agree with anything, let me know in the comments what your top 10 is. I'll see you in the next video. Peace out, guys.